Okay. Good morning, all. I hope I am clear enough, audible to you all. Okay. So, good morning, all. This is our 301 Strategic Management course session, and we are on unit number 1, that is Strategic Management Basic Information and Study related to that. Uh, we have completed a topic up to the attributes of strategic intent, in which we have seen that there are strategic intents have following three attributes, that is the sense of direction, then the sense of discovery, and then the sense of destiny. Okay, so let us see in detail about each. The sense of direction. Okay, the sense of direction defines where the organization wants to go in the future and why. Every organization requires a significant, steady, and common end. These ends should be valuable, necessary for unnecessary for the organization, because if organization doesn't know where it want to reach, how will it try and act accordingly to go there, right? So they should have a proper idea about what is their common end and where they need to reach. The environment and the market for business changes very frequently, and hence the strategic decisions should not be based on this short term motives, else the efforts made by the organizations become inconsistent and fail to achieve the desired future state. Okay, because see, the market and the environment, whatever they are means whatever the organization may be dealing means may be existing in, should be, just a second. Okay, so the environment and the market in which the business deals is always frequently changing, and hence what happens, whatever the decisions are to be taken for the benefits of the society, for the benefits of the organization, for the employees, for the purpose of getting ahead in the competition, all these decisions are strategic decisions, and very much depend upon the changing business scenario. So efforts are made by the organization to become consistent, so that they don't fail in the desired goal they wish to achieve. Okay, so in this way the things goes on. Okay, next is the sense of discovery. The sense of discovery refers to the ability of inspiring the employees for innovation and creativity. Okay, so sense of discovery is nothing but the ability to inspire employees, because see, if the employees are not motivated, they are not going to work that efficiently. So to have innovation and creativity within the employees, um it is very necessary that employees should be motivated, they should be enthusiastic, and they should be very much active. And how they will be if they are inspired, right? So motivating them is the most important part. This is necessary because the employees feel less enthusiastic when the strategic intent is not inspiring. The strategic intent should motivate the employees and perform the challenging task and explore new concepts. It should introduce new dimensions in the organization and innovative, superior ways to achieve them. So, in this way, they can achieve whatever the goal or aim that they are wishing to go for, and in this way, they can even in a very easy way overcome the challenging task and explore new concepts. Okay, then the sense of destiny. The sense of destiny refers to the ability of strategic intent to provide meaning to the existence of the organization. It should be able to create a sense of respect among the organizational members. Strategic intent should be meaningful and significant, so that it can direct the organizational members. So see, sense of destiny is nothing but the ability of the strategic intent to give certain meaning to the existence of the organization, the reason for which the organization is standing and working for, right? So it should be able to create respect for the organization amongst the members of the organization. It should be so meaningful and important that it should give a direction to the organizational members. Then the strategic intent must be meaningful for the employees and have the capability to set proper direction for them. So in this way the sense of destiny works. So these are the three attributes of strategic intent. Now let us see, just a second. Now, as we have seen in this upper this pyramid here, the hierarchy of strategic intent. See, the hierarchy of strategic intents has five level, right? The vision, the mission, the vision, the mission, then the business decision, goals, and objectives. As we go at the top of the pyramid towards the head, there is vision, right? Vision means what? It is the level at which uh, the integrity is more and the number of visions, that is the number of values, are less. Means the number of visions of the organization, those statements are comparatively less. As we go to the bottom of the pyramid, the numbers are greater, that is the number of objectives of the organization that are set, they are more as compared to the upper levels, and they are quite more specific, right? uh, Vision is something or a statement which is not that specific or is a kind of little vague. But as you go down to the bottom of the pyramid, they are more concrete, they are more specific, and they are greater in the numbers. So in this way the strategic intent work. Okay, now let us see these five levels of strategic intent. Okay, the very first level and the top one in the pyramid is the vision. So let us see now the concept of vision. So a vision statement can be referred as the statement defining company's long-term goal. So wherever organization wants to go, the vision that it's admires is nothing but the place where it sees itself, right? So these are framed into sentences, and these sentences are nothing but the vision statement. So they define the company's long term goal. A vision statement can exceed from one line to a few paragraphs, highlighting what the organization wants to achieve in future, right? So vision statement is nothing but it can be a single one liner, it can be a small para, or certain that will highlight that what the organization actually wants in future. Now, according to Kotler, vision is a description of something in future. So, whatever something that the organization admires in the future is nothing but the vision. So, an effective vision statement motivates the employees and provides them a sense of direction for carrying out day to day business activities, and also helps in taking strategic decisions. Okay, so in this way, vision statements act as a background level work done for taking any kind of strategic decisions, or any kind of decisions that are been taken into, or you can say any kind of day-to-day life decisions that are taken into business activities, or taking any kind of change of path. For this purpose our vision statement helps the organization. The organization's vision clarifies the significant primary goals to be achieved, but does not highlight the plan to accomplish these goals. So it helps you to identify the primary goal, but it will not clarify the plans. As we have already discussed in that pyramid diagram, they are not that specific, right? They are more integrative. So what happens, they are not that specific, and hence they are only giving you the idea of primary goals that you wish to have. But how you are going to plan towards those goals is like a question mark. Means you have to think over it, you have to come down, narrow it down, and then you have to finally work at that at a very different levels, right? So in this way goal will help you, or the vision will help you to Identify your primary goals or importance, let you know with the importance or significance of your primary goal, but the plan to go and achieve them, it will not clarify. It will help the organizational staff in formulating required strategies for carrying out necessary business operation. Okay, so in this way the concept of vision statement is there and it helps the organization. Now let us see in more specific or a simpler manner that what's in a vision statement. Okay, so when developing a vision statement, it should be seen that the following questions are answered. So these questions are like, first one, what do we want to do going forward? Okay, means what, while going forward in the race, what you want to do, what is your ultimate goal, what you want to achieve, right? So that should be answered in the vision statement. Then when to do, what to do it, right? So when do we want to, sorry, when do we want to do it? So whatever you are planning to do, when you should do that, that is also again another question that you should be able to answer through your vision statement. And the last one is how do we want to do it, means the way we want to do it, right? So that is also highlighted in the vision statement. So in this way, if the vision statement is answering all these questions, then you can see that your vision statement is absolutely right and you are on the path of achieving the ultimate goal you have already decided. Now see, here is one example of vision statement. Here's the example of Infosys vision statement. So it is like, to be a globally respected corporation that provides best of breed business solutions leveraging technology delivered by best in class people. Okay, so see now in this statement you can see they are able to easily clarify that where they want to go and when they want to do that, right? So in upcoming time they want to be a company with having business solution, then leveraging technology, and they should be able to deliver that in for best in class people, right? Means how do they want to do that, they have also clarified this point. So in this way your vision statement should be able to clarify certain pinpoints which are very necessary and mandatory, which will highlight that what you want to do in future, how you are going to do that, and when you're going to do that. Because unless and until all these points are covered, you can't say that you have appropriately designed your vision statement. I hope all are getting this. Yes, समजतंय का? आता हे घेतलं तर एक्झाम्पलच आहे ना, or else we can also search. Who's this? Ajinkya. Here is Infosys vision statement. They say that to be the globally respected corporation. Okay, so this sentence itself says that how where they want to see their self, right? त्यांना स्वतःला कुठे बघायचं, तर त्यांना असं ऑर्गनायझेशन बनायचंय ज्याला ग्लोबली रिस्पेक्ट केलं जाईल, राईट? Then that provides best of breed business solution leveraging technologies and delivered by best in class people. Now delivered by best in class people means how they are going to do it, right? How they are going to do, they are going to do with the people who are best in class, means जे एकदम क्लिअर असतील, जे एकदम टेक्निकली साऊंड असतील, क्लेवर असतील, बेस्ट असतील त्यांच्या कामात, त्यांच्या थ्रू त्यांना हा बिझनेस कॅरी आउट करायचा आहे. कसला बिझनेस, तर बिझनेस सोल्युशन, देन लेवरेजिंग टेक्नॉलॉजीज अँड ऑल दीज काइंड्स ऑफ बिझनेसेस दॅट दे ऑलरेडी हॅव or which exist, त्यांना हे बिझनेस करायचा आहे. Where they want to see their organization, they want to see their organization at a place where it is globally respected, and how they are going to deliver this business with the help of best in class people. Means खूप क्लेवर, खूप टेक्निकली साऊंड, खूप जास्त बेस्ट सर्व्हिस प्रोव्हाइड करू शकतात असे एम्प्लॉईजच्या मदतीने ते हा बिझनेस कॅरी फॉरवर्ड करणार आहे. सो दिस इज वॉट यू कॅन से इज अ विजन स्टेटमेंट. कळलंय? Yeah, welcome. See, there are also, if you'll go through various vision statements, no, there are certain vision statements that won't be clarifying all these points, but then too those are also considered as a vision statement. See, this was the statement which was easily covering all the above 3 points, so I have taken this as an example. But if there are certain vision statements wherein all these questions are not answered, then too you can't claim them as an inappropriate ones, right? Because uh, each one has a different style of writing, and hence those are accepted in the way they are. Only it's like they should be able to clarify that where the organization wishes to see itself in a future time period, right? So that is what is the gist that you expect from your vision statement. So though if any of the statement is not clarifying or not answering all these three above questions, then too it is considered as a vision statement if it's able to create a vision wherein the organization wishes to see itself in the future. I hope all are getting this, okay? Now let us see the characteristics of the good vision statements. So first one is clarity and lack of ambiguity. Clarity, because it should be very clear that where you wish to see yourself, because if your visions are not very clear, you won't be able to take a path wherein it will help you to go there, right? So it is very necessary that you should know your end point where you want to see yourself. Unless and until you are clear with it, you won't be able to reach there, right? And lack of ambiguity means like there should be no any kind of confusion, okay? Whatever explained should be in the way it is. It should be understood in the same way it is explained. I hope you're getting the sentence, okay? So that is that can be termed as ambiguity. Next is paint a vivid and clear picture, not ambiguous. Means whatever picture you see about your organization should be very clear. It should clearly let let you understand that where the organization see itself in upcoming future, and what should be its ultimate desire. Uh, what should be its ultimate desire? It should be clarified through the vision. Then describing a bright future. Yes, the vision should be always something of hope. It should not be something which will demotivate or which will let you down or which will dismood you or which will demotivate you. It should be always a positive statement having lots and lots of hope, a positive sentence, and it should be describing about something that is positive and bright in future, okay? Then memorable and engaging expressions. See, if it's memorable and if it's engaging expressions, no, people reading it will always keep it in their memory, and they'll always remember it, and hence they will be able to continuously get themselves attached with that statement and work accordingly, get themselves motivated, and enthusiastically they will work for the organization. So it should be memorable and engaging expression. Then realistic aspirations and achievable. So it should be something which is achievable, right? For example, considering something which is actually not practically possible and keeping such things as a vision statement is like being foolish, right? So your vision statement should be something which is achievable, which you can achieve and you can actually do that in your real life. So such should be your vision statement, something which is aspirational, something which is achievable, okay? Then alignment with organization values and culture. Means it should not go in opposite direction wherein your organization values and culture lies. It should go hand in hand with the organizational values and culture, so that all things will come together, and a good package will be available there, and hence you can work in a more efficient way, in a more enthusiastic way, and come up with the solution. Then time bound, if it talks of achieving any goal or objective. So see, if your vision statement is time bound, no, you'll be able to identify or at least keep a time marks for each and every activity you're going for. So your vision statement should be time bounded. It should be not vaguely claimed something, it should be something which is having a certain time limitation wherein you have to go there and you have to do that, right? So if you're going to clarify the time boundness of that particular activity, you will be able to work accordingly and plan your things accordingly. Okay, so in this way you will be able to work for your organization if your vision statements are in the same way which I have explained right now. So these are the characteristics of the vision statement. Now see, vision statement is something which will only give you the clear idea, but how you want to reach there and how you will be reaching there will be clarified by the mission statement. Okay, so now let us see what is about mission, organizational mission. Okay, the concept of mission. A mission statement is a short statement of why an organization exists, then what its overall goal, whatever its overall goal is, then identifying the goal of its operations, what kind of product or services it provides, its primary customers or market, and its geographical region of operation. Okay, so a mission statement may be any kind of small statement. See, usually as we have seen in the vision statement can be a one liner also or a small para also, but mission statements are usually short, and they should be able to identify the goals of organizational operations. They should be able to they should be able to explain what is the overall goal is, and they should be designed in such a way that they should be able to let about what kind of product or service it organization is providing, its primary customers, then market, and also what are the geographical regions of operation. It's a summary of what your organization does for its customers, employees, and owners. Okay, it explains how you do what you do. Okay, so your it's like a summary of the company, and how and what it does for the employees and the owners. It will also explain you that what to do and how to do. Okay, and it focuses on why you are and why your company does is what it does. So what to do and how to do and why it does is what it is doing. So these are the three important primary, or you can say significant things that the organization should consider, and accordingly the mission statements are designed. Now according to Hunger and Willen, mission is the purpose or reason for the organization's existence. So why the organization exists, so the purpose of it and the reason for its existence is stated in the mission statement. Okay, now what to include in a mission statement, let us see. When developing a mission statement, it should be seen that the following questions are answered. Now, similar like vision, mission are also having certain questions that are to be answered in that mission statement. What do we do today? For whom do we do it? And what is the benefit? Okay, so what do we do today? For whom do we do it? And what is the benefit? Now, see, here is the example, like Infosys mission statement. It is to achieve our objectives in an environment of fairness, honesty, and courtesy towards our clients, employees, vendors, and society. So, see, in this mission statement, you are able to easily identify that for whom they are doing, what is the benefit of it, and what they do today, right? So they try to achieve their objectives in the environment of fairness, honesty, and courtesy. For whom? For the clients, employees, vendors, and the society. So you can easily see that majority of the questions are answered from the above three sentences, right? So in this way the mission statement helps the organization to easily answer these three questions and work accordingly in the direction of the vision that the organization has seen. I hope all are getting this. Yes. Okay, we will go forward. Yeah. uh, Now here is one small difference between vision and mission. Previously, these questions were arose in the final examination. So let us see the difference between the vision and the mission. So vision statements and the vision statement. Now about it, right? Vision statement outlines where you want to be and communicates both the purpose and the values of your business, right? Which we recently have seen. And what about the mission statement? It talks about how you will get to where you want to be, defines the purpose and primary objectives related to your customers' needs and team values. So see, in vision statement it is about where you want to be, while how you will get there will be answered in the mission statement. So for having your mission statement, it is very necessary your vision statement should be designed. Depending upon your vision statement, the mission statement is declared. Okay. Now answer. It answers the question of where do we aim to be, right? It is very obvious that vision, whenever we are talking about, it explains about where the organization wants to be, what is its aim, right? It answers that question. Then talking about the mission statement, it answers the question, what do you do? Just a second. Hello. Okay. Usually, mission statement answers the question like what do we do and what makes us different, right? So, these questions are answered by the mission statement. Then, talking about the time, a vision statement talks about your future, while the mission statement talks about the present leading towards future. Means, whatever things you have admired or wish to desire have a desire to achieve for your organization, so these things are actually uh, done in the so these things are actually the things that are talking about the future terms, but when you're talking about the mission, it is all about doing it. So it is about the present that will lead towards your future, that is about to the vision, right? Then the function, lists where you see yourself in some years from now. It inspires you to give your best. It shapes your understanding of why you are working here, right? Whereas while talking about the mission statement, the function is like it lists the broad goals for which the organization is formed. Its primary function is internal, to define the key measure or measures of the organization's success, and its prime audience is the leadership team and stockholders. Okay, so in this way, there is a difference between vision and mission. Now there are more few points we'll see. So talking about the change, as your organization evolves, you might feel tempted to change your vision. So how the way you are growing and with the speed you are growing, after achieving your pre-decided vision, you will be now again moving towards certain different visions that you are seeing, right? So the visions might change and you might feel tempted to change your visions. However, a mission or vision statements explain your organization's foundation, so change should be kept to a minimum. So your whatever the change you are going to do should be kept very minimum, because this is something about the organization you have already done, and it's not that easy to change the vision and mission statement. Okay. So it is very necessary that if you wish to have certain changes, it should be very minute but should stick to the background and whatever the already existence was towards that. Then talking about the mission statement, your mission statement may change, but it should still tie back to your core values, customer needs and visions. Okay. Then developing a statement, where do you want to be going forward? When do you want to reach that stage? what do we want to do it. So all these things are answered with the help of vision statement. And vision statement, when developed, you are able to get idea about that, right? Now talking about the mission statement, it is all about what to do, what do we do today, then for whom do we do it today, then what is the benefit of it. In other words, why do we do what we do, what for whom and why. So all these questions are answered in the mission statement. Okay, now talking about the features of an effective statement. So it is about the vision statements are clarity and lack of ambiguity, then describing about a bright future, then it is memorable and engaging, then it is realistic, it is aspirational, achievable, then uh, adjusted with the organization's value and the culture. Now talking about the mission statements, so the purpose and the values of the organization, who are the primary organization's primary client, that is stakeholders, and what are the responsibilities of these organization towards the client. So all these things are considered under the mission statement, and in this way the vision and the mission statements are designed. Okay, now we will move to the next one. The third the third the third one in the pyramid was the business definition. Now let us see about it. Business definition refers to the description of product, services, activities, functions, and markets in which the organization deals. It is a component of mission statement, which forms the foundation for all strategic planning process and how the organization uh, shows the way to achieve the success. Okay, so business definition is nothing but something which will describe about the product, services, functions, and markets in which the organization exists. Then it is a component of mission statement which forms the foundation for all the strategic planning process and how the organization a way to achieve its success. Okay, business definition outlines the current position and the desired future positions also. Okay, it discusses the operations of the businesses but does not exactly specify the reason behind the particular operation. Okay, so your business definition will, what will it do, it will discuss about the operation of your business, but it will not exactly tell you about the reason behind that operation. This concept applies to both the products and the services. Business definition is business definition is usually using market and business definition is usually market oriented, and it focuses on customers as they are the strength of the organization. As an external stakeholders, the customers have the power to break make or break the organization. See, whenever we are talking about the stakeholders, see, these are the people which are in some or the other way connected to the marine life, right? Sorry, sorry. Stakeholders are the people. Sorry, the stakeholders are the people who are very much you can say having hold, or which are very much ultimately connected with the organization, and they can make or break the organization, and organization is very much dependent on them. They can be beneficial, at the same time they can hamper the organization also. So these people play a very important role in our organizational setup and are necessary also. So business definition outlines the entire scope of the organization in which it is done with, and it considers every aspect of the organization, about its operation, about its stakeholders, about its scope, about its existence, about the reason behind its existence, and so on. Okay. So in this way, the business definition is designed. Now, here is one this thing model given by Abel. It is called as business definition using Abel's three-dimensional model. Okay, we will start with it today. Dimension of business definition. According to Abel, in 1980, Abel and Hammond in 1979, a business may be defined by three dimensions according to these two people, that is the customer group, the customer function, and the technologies. So with the help of, just a second. Okay. According to the definition of Abel's three-dimensional model, business may be defined on the three dimensions, that is customer group, then customer functions, and customer technologies. Okay, now let us see one by one. So the first one is the customers group. So customer groups describes the categories of customers or whom the business satisfies, means for whom the business is actually manufacturing its products or goods or services, right? Second is customer functions, means it describes about the customer needs or what is being satisfied or what is been done in the actual business, right? Then the third one is technology. It describes the way the firm satisfies the customer needs. So in this way, these three are the three different dimensions of the business definition. Let us now see. Dimensions of business definition. The first one, customer group. So defining customer group requires understanding customers' identities. Some common dimensions for describing identity include geography, demography, social economic class, lifestyle, personality characteristics, or user industry and size. So whenever we are talking about the customer group, it is understanding the customers, who are the customers, right? Then the customers can be described on the basis of different criterias, like depending upon the geography, depending upon the demography. Demography is according to the age, according to the gender, according to the qualification, according to n kind of category. Okay, then socio-economic class, then the lifestyle, then the personality characteristic, or usually depending on the industrial size or the user industry. Okay, so depending upon that, we can identify that who are our customers. Then talking about the customer functions. Okay, products or services perform certain functions for the customer, right? So that is for which the organization gets paid from the customers, right? So however, functions may be separated conceptually from the way the function is performed. Okay, so see, this is a bit confusing. You all should pay attention and try to understand this. The sentence is quite complicated, but once you'll understand, it will be easy for you. So function is nothing, function must be separated conceptually from the way the function is performed, means what is the function should be treated differently, and how the function is done should be treated differently, right? So function may be a kind of service, and performance of that function may be how the function has been performed, the technology utilized for it. Okay, so they should both be treated differently. So as well as the attributes or benefits that the customers may perceive act as important criteria for choice. So in this sense, transportation is a function, right? Now here is one example which will be helping you to understand. Now see, transportation means what? Carrying people or people from one place to another, right? So transportation, transporting people, is a kind of function. A taxi is the way of performing the function. So how you're going to perform this function with the help of taxi? And the price, comfort, speed and safety are the attributes or benefits associated with the choice. So if you're going to choose taxi, how you're going to choose taxi? Dependent upon the price, depending upon the comfort, the speed, the safety of yourself. So depending on all these things, you're going to select the taxi to travel, right? So these are the attributes or benefits that are associated with choosing taxi, right? Taxi is what? The function, right? So this makes sense that the function may be different, should be treated differently, and actually performance of the function should be treated differently, because both will have they both will come up with different things. Then alternative technology. So technology describe the alternative ways in which a particular function should be performed for a customer, right? Therefore in this context, a technology represents form of the solution the custom to the customer's problem. If the function is transportation, technology might be road, rail or seawater. Now see, we will see the back example only, and I'll explain you this Abel's three-dimensional model. Now see, uh, the main thing is that a person needs to travel from point A to B, so there needs a so there is a need of transportation. So here the customer group is the person who wants to travel. Okay, now what is the function? The function is nothing but to go from one place to another. And who is going to do that function? The function will be done by the taxi. And why that taxi is been chosen? Because of its price, function, the comfortness it will give, the speed it has and the safety it is associated with, right? So depending on all this benefit, taxi is chosen. So performance of the function may be chosen depending upon the benefits associated with that function. And the actual function, that is transporting, is quite a different task. So according to Abel's three-dimensional model, these three things should be treated in a different way: that the customer, the function and the performance of the function. And next is alternative technologies. Now see, as the person has chosen a traveling mode as its taxi, but other function may be for transportation, like he could have gone for a road, railway or a seaway, right? But he chose to go by road, so that was the alternative technology he chose for. So in this way the Abel's three-dimensional model works. I hope all have got this. समझले का? Okay. So in this way the Abel's three-dimensional model works. You just try to read it yourself with the help of this example. You will be able to easily understand it. Okay. Now with this we will stop down here today. I hope all of you have got whatever has been taught down today. And if in case of any doubt, you can ask me in our next session. Okay. Uh, See, till now we don't have any kind of notification from university about offline and online exam. Yeah, the news flashes about offline examination, but there is no as such written document from the university or declaration or a notice about written examination or physical offline examination. So we are just waiting for the notification, so that if certain kind of notice comes to our side, we will be able to forward it to the students. But all should be ready with both offline as well as online mode, because we don't know what are the circumstances that might come in future or in upcoming month or two. So be ready for both the things. If offline, prefer going for offline. If online, be ready for online also. So be ready on both side. Okay. Yeah. So with this I conclude today's session, and thank you all for attending. Thank you.